Yo guys, what is up? It is Teacher's Game 2 coming at you again with another video here, and I am here with my two friends behind me, the Diplodocus or Diploducus. It doesn't matter what you want to call them, they are both the same thing, so that's not too big of a deal. So, what are they? First and foremost, they are a herbivore. They like eating lots of berries. They're also really good at gathering berries. So, that being said, there are two purposes to them. A lot of people forget about this. They actually have one of the highest, if not the highest, overall health stat. Now, these are wild 150 tames, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by their health stat is stupid large. So, what you can do with these guys is, one, look at this base health right here. 14,000 is not really that bad. I'm going to go and max level this thing. And we're getting there, and we're getting there. Yeah, 137,000 is not that bad, I suppose. You can also get some really good high-level saddles with these things that can put them into literally like 100 armor saddles. And then these things are really hard to take out because they just have so much health. Now, another fun thing about soaking with these guys, and I'll make a video more about soakers later on. If you look up and then go into K mode, their head actually blocks bullets from you, so you can soak multiple types of different turrets. And all you got to do is basically just, oopsies, not what I wanted, is just look forward and walk. Now, they're actually pretty quick, as you can see right there, but they can take a lot. There's another setup, we'll call it, that you can have for the Diplodocus. Now, the other setup is one, they've got some pretty good starting weight. They have 11 seats, the driver, and then 10 others. Now, how you access those is, not bad. Passenger seats, and there's rights and lefts. Here's the really awesome thing about these things. Because you can actually shoot and have your weapon out and use it while you're in a passenger seat, which is not that bad of something, obviously. You are pretty safe to be on the back of this thing. Let's say someone's chasing you. It's really hard to take out 10 different people that are shooting at you, and you can't hit each other when you're on this, because you're like attached to it, if that makes sense, so you're like linked with it. Now, let's say you don't want to make a tank. If you want to make something a little bit differently, I usually crank up the stamina just a touch, increase the weight just a little bit. However, this is where it gets hilarious. They do have no melee damage because they can't do damage, which is the one downside. But check this out. If you increase just pure movement speed on these things, I'm going to show you one of the most hilarious things that the Diplodocus or Diploducus, whatever you'd like to call it, is meant for. So, they can hit speeds that are just an absolute joke. Especially as for a large herbivore, they can get in and out of a situation almost as fast as a wyvern can. Now, mind you, their turn rate is quite terrible. Okay, a little bit of a jump there. But if you hold sprint, these things actually haul butt. Now, look at it go right now. You can kind of see it's got some raw speed. It can do some basic movement. And then its attack will get you a little bit of thatch if you're using it. Now, obviously, I'm using the left click attack right now. There is no right click attack, just so you know. There is no tertiary attack either. But they get a little bit of wood and they get a little bit of thatch. However, if you've got a bunch of health on this thing, you can kind of use it to soak and run. Back up nice and slowly, go forward. It's up to you. You can use these things to soak pretty well. Now, just to show you their ability to gather berries, they gather it decently well. I still wouldn't use them as a main berry gatherer. But shockingly, as a scout tame, they're pretty useful. Because they do have that pushback ability, so they can basically send things flying if they need to. Wow, that is a pretty parasaur. But they do have some raw speed. Look at this. This thing will pretty much catch up to just about anything you're trying to outrun. And it doesn't do any damage, but with its pushback attack, I'll show you what it looks like here. Right here. I will send that thing flying, and it gives all creatures a pushback. So it's not just a couple of things. It'll knock just about everything back. So if you're trying to crowd control on something, have a lot of health, this thing will send things flying, and you can just keep them knocked back at any distance you want. So if you're in like a lava area, you will be able to push things back a long distance. So check this out. Now I'm going to go ahead and push this turtle. I don't know if maybe it doesn't push Brontos anymore. They used to be able to. Oh, they can't push Brontos anymore. They must have fixed it. But any of the soakers, really. The turtles, Triceratops, as you can see, they go flying, which is quite nice. It's something that you don't have to worry about, because if these things can get nice and close, let's say you're near your lines, you're just going to start running with this guy and then sneak up, because nothing's outrunning him. And you can just like slowly bat a tame back. Let's say someone's on their trike. Weigh yourself down so you can't get picked, and then just bat their trike back into your lines and it's over. So they do have some PvP use. They do have a lot of interesting functionality. I'm kind of curious to see what people have done with these things before. So if you've done something like, yo, they're really good at this actually, let me know in the comments, because I really very rarely see these things used. But I can tell you, especially if you get some mutations on these things, they can soak. Oh, they can soak. They don't take that reduced damage, but my goodness, they can get a lot of health, especially if you get some mutations on these bad boys. These might actually be a pretty viable tame for pretty much any sort of PvP use. Because if you've got a Giga moving at you and you've got your own Giga, you can sit with the side with this guy and just kind of control when he gets to attack, because he's not going to be able to do enough damage to you with 100,000 health. So, there's a lot of interesting uses for this guy. So, I'm a little bit shocked. I mean, when I started researching these things, I was like, I've only used him a couple of times, and I knew about the speed. I knew about the health, but I was like, I forgot about the pushback, and some people are saying that they use these things for some really neat purposes. So if you come up with a few different things that you use them for, go ahead and let me know, because I am quite curious. Alright, Teacher's Game 2 with the Diplodocus, or the Diploducus, whichever you prefer. Out.